Well, Dr. Oner, thank you
Yes,
so much for teaching our data science class, and thanks for participating in my project. Could you
sure.
say a little bit about yourself?
All right, so my name is Oner Celepcikay. I currently work as a senior AI engineer and data scientist at IBM. I also teach, I enjoy teaching here. At Rice, I've been teaching data science and data management courses at Rice University for the last 6 years. And before IBM, I was working for an international company, software company, as a machine learning engineer. And before that, for 10 years, I was in academia teaching at for University of Houston, Texas A&M Systems, and other colleges.
And sounds exciting, and all of this has been data science.
Yes, my undergraduate was electrical engineering, but I always loved computers. So I switched to computer science, master's and PhD. And in PhD, you choose a field. This is I started 2003. This is 2005, 2006. Luck, or I like the group, or somehow I chose data mining, and the group was data mining, machine learning. So I've been involved with data mining, machine learning since 2005, 2006, and then I got into teaching that field. That's how I get involved. It's always been data science. Yes.
Now, I guess one issue with data science is it's great in terms of analyzing the data sets that we have.
Yeah.
But whenever you have like fundamental changes, there's a lot of misconceptions in that data. What are your thoughts with how that's
Yeah,
dealt with?
that's really important. A lot of people who are not practicing data science think that, like, there's even memes like people say what my friends think I'm doing as a data scientist versus what I'm doing. Unfortunately, 70%, sometimes 80% of the time is about dealing with the data, cleaning data, pre-processing data. That's why the data management component and data governance component has been becoming increasingly important. Yes, that's a big challenge. We have a lot of good algorithms, especially recently developed, or because thanks to cloud computing and superpowers, we now have really good algorithms that can do a lot of great stuff. But often the bottleneck is the data. We don't have high quality data, or it's all over the place. We have multiple copies. We don't have source of truth. So it's just, and this all goes to importance of the data management plan, data governance plans. But that's the challenge. Yeah, a lot of people, companies struggle at that. They get very excited about the new algorithm, generative AI, or this or that. But when you start, and then people say, well, where's the data, and do we have the right data? And so you have to do a lot of digging, pre-processing, cleanup, and all that. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting you mentioned generative AI. It's become such a pervasive.
Yeah.
I even saw today, like somebody was posting on Twitter that if you put in before colon 2023 in Google, you get a lot better search results because it helps exclude all the generative AI content.
That's interesting. Yeah, I definitely changed a lot of things. I think it will change many more things. Some people think it's one of those hypes, but a lot of people who spend a lot of time on this and kind of see the potential, I don't think it's a hype. It's like I see it as the cell phone, the iPhone cell phone app kind of, invention, or that revolution, or that disruption. I think the generative AI is just like the phone or apps. We're putting all this in our pocket. Generative AI is helping, bringing AI in our daily life, and we'll see a lot of applications, different applications.
I like to think of it as, your manager may not know the actual work that you do, but they have to like figure out, make judgments, and so they ask you questions and find out a little bit about your work. And I think generative AI has made all of us kind of like have that manager mindset where we have this work and we don't know what they do,
Yeah.
but we need to have like these clarifying questions to get it to
Yeah.
explain itself.
I was watching a podcast. There's this podcast I love. It's a YouTube podcast. Lex Friedman. I don't know. I recommend everyone. He was a Stanford professor, very young, originally from Russia. He hosted recently Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk 4 times, and Sam Altman second time, the CEO of OpenAI. And he was asking him, everyone is using ChatGPT differently. How do you use ChatGPT? And he told them, often, people need to run their ideas by someone, a manager, colleague, like as a soundboard.
Right.
He said he likes doing that with ChatGPT, their own product. Like, okay, I have this idea. How can I do that? I want to develop something like this. What will be right approach? Can you create a framework for this? Or what do you think about this? It's just there's so many different ways, but it was very interesting to hear from the CEO himself that he's doing it also that way.
I even saw, I forget what it's called, but basically where you have multiple instances of ChatGPT and you have each one like perform a role and then you have them interact with each other. So it's like as the project manager, you're interacting with this guy that's as the analyst type thing. And it's kind of
Yeah, I think there are a lot of interesting ways, and there are different like just today is what April 18, Meta released Llama 3, which is I think it's trained on 15 billion parameters, and I work at IBM, so today we just also released it on our platform. IBM has what's next, and it has we have our own large language model, but for the popular ones like Meta ones, we are also using it. So there are so many things that is changing every day, and so many different things. Like I work with client, I work at the client engineering, so we work with clients, these big large corporations. There's so many interesting use cases, and everyone is looking after how can I leverage generative AI, whether it is this model or this solution or other. But also one big part of it is how can we do it in a responsible and ethical way as well, because it has a lot of potential. At the same time, there are ethical aspects of it. There are like some bias and some other issues that comes with AI and with generative AI as well. So it's a really interesting dynamics.
yeah, the world's going to be a lot different.
Yep.
So I had a few questions I wanted
Sure.
to ask you. First of all, did you know that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
Yes, I know. Yes.
And what do you think about it?
I think it's great. I think we should keep exploring, and I love the mission. I watch a lot of movies, documentaries from the first one, all the movies and the series. So I think it's time. I know there are other plans for going Mars and other exploration. So I definitely find it very exciting and support it.
Whenever you think about the future of humanity, like if you were to project out 200 years in the future, which I know is a long time because if you go 200 years back, they weren't even talking about electricity, much less generative AI. So 200 years in the future is really long. But do you see people like you and me maybe sitting on the moon having a conversation about Llama 3672, or which has been trained on 10 quadrillion, whatever.
Or two AI are talking each other.
Oh, exactly. You won't even need life support
we
for
have
that.
this VR headset and we're just there. I think 200 here. I think a lot will change because, like, there's this speed of the invention, right? Like you said, 200 years ago, maybe electricity, and then this internet, 80s, maybe 70s started with DARPA, with 70s, end of 60s, 70s, but things are changing so fast now. So even in 10 years, things could be very different. So I think we will talk about technology. We will talk about how we can make our lives better, how we can incorporate technology, especially if we are careful, like both very innovative but also a responsible way, and without forgetting that we are humans. A lot of people have like these doom scenarios that AI will take over, robots will take over. I don't subscribe those. I think it's just a tool. It's very smart, very intelligent. But I think one thing that a lot of people don't know is those companies are also working, like IBM, on ethical AI, responsible AI. We are at Rice University. I remember when I first joined, Rice was hiring, this is like 6, 7 years ago, before generative AI, a professor, full-time professor for ethical AI. So, I mean, these things, like a lot of people think these are all out of control, nobody, even considers. But even those companies, maybe because they want to be responsible, maybe it's their benefit, like financial benefit, but one way or another, they are also developing, the being responsible and all that. So I don't think I don't subscribe those doom scenarios that AI will take over. I think it's gonna be very impactful. It's a skill set. I like this saying, AI will not replace you. Someone using AI will replace you.
Yeah.
So I'm also educated not only with Rise but also with the K to 12. I'm very involved, but I think one thing that needs to change is a lot of schools, especially the K 12, are worried too much. Yes, we should worry about cheating, like using just generative AI tools for essays and things like that, but also using it as a good tool. Like I know kids who are using it for tutoring purposes. Ask them questions. Can you ask similar questions, or others, right? Or actually, my son, he's taking Java in computer science, ninth grader. So he solves the problems like teacher gives him, and I know programming, but I'm in all day long. I'm doing Python programming, so your mind can take it. So I can either sit down and solve this two-page problem, or ask a generative session what is the solution for this, so that as a parent it helps me to become a better tutor or better helper to my kid, or vice versa. Like there are so many like creative ways of using them. Yes, the cheating part is really important. I agree, especially the creative writing, but I think in the education there's so many creative ways to use it, and we're not experimenting or exploring that yet. A few people are doing it, but not the whole education domain.
Yeah, and a lot of it's transparency. Maybe there's something to be learned by actually using, generative AI to maybe help you create a plot or to build out a character or to give you alternatives and things like this. But make that very clear about to what extent you used it.
Exactly. Yeah. Without using it, you cannot know what's the strength, what are the weaknesses, and we can always control it. Like this source of knowledge, internet, Google, or other things were available, doesn't mean that they replace teachers, right? I mean, in the pandemic, everyone was online. Everyone was talking, oh, the education changed. Everyone is going to. No, we are back to in-class teaching. People, especially for the younger kids, we prefer that, right? There are special circumstances, but often even the undergraduate students like the campus, experience, this campus, environment for middle and high school, same thing. So, but still, there is going to be a place for humans, for teachers, for face-to-face education. But these are just tools. Yes, this one is very impressive, like human-like. So it's both impressive, very effective, but also we need to be careful. But really, it's just a tool. We need to start thinking that way.
It's kind of funny, Elon, Tesla invested a whole bunch in automation, and at one point whenever they had like the production crunch and a lot of issues, he's like, maybe we over invest in this, we need to get more humans involved. So, there's definitely a...
Definitely there has to be a balance.
If you could, would you take a trip to space?
Definitely. When?
How far would you
Is
go?
this an offer?
Well, you might be able to. The way that SpaceX is doing with Starship.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about being able to produce like 3 of them
I
a
would
day.
definitely love to go to moon and just watch the Earth. It's beautiful. But the Mars, if it is dangerous, I mean, I'm not as a nature. I'm not that like adventurous. I'm not sure if I would like pack things up and go to Mars, even though I know I will never come back, or I can come back so many years later. But a trip to moon, I would take it definitely.
Sometimes I think NASA's so safety conscious that maybe we've made space look too safe, and so people really don't understand. Kind of like
we only watch it like as a movie, like you're just gonna go there and just watch the Earth. But you're right. Like I'm sure it has to. A lot of training, a lot of exercise, and all that has to happen before safety measure trainings, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you get safety training on airplanes. It just lasts for like 5 minutes.
That's true. Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I find it very exciting. I mean, it's just amazing.
Do you think you'll get a chance in your lifetime?
I think so, and I will try my best. Hopefully, it's not too expensive, but even the later years of my life, yes, I think so. I think it's gonna become more and more accessible. Maybe initially very expensive for people like me, but later when it is more affordable, yeah, definitely, sure.
Well, Thank you so much, Dr.
Sure.
Oner, for a wonderful semester and for participating in my project.
Sure, very happy to have you. You were, and thank you for being very, participating, always asking questions, and very involved. I really like having you in my class as well.
Thank you so much.